It was love at first sight. I can still remember driving over into Pullman, seeing the campus. I loved every minute of it. It was a wonderful experience, amongst the best experiences in my life, really. And every time I go back to Pullman, I get that same feeling when I drive over the hill and see the campus.
The Gibson Award really is one of our highest recognitions for people who've had an impact on Washington State University. And we are really thoughtful about looking at people who've had not just a year or two impact, but really a lifetime impact. One of the unique things about our donors and people who support the institution is they're very rarely supporting a single thing. And I think Dan and Kathy fall in that category of supporting the medical school and athletics and engineering and lots of different student-focused impacts that they're giving his head.
We have a tremendous amount of very engaged volunteers, but eventually you want the right people to step into the leadership roles. Most of the time he's chaired the committee, he's run the task force. It comes very naturally to him, and we have benefited greatly from his leadership where he is a driving force behind any of those efforts. The leadership gift to the College of Medicine is one of the things that help make the College of Medicine become real. Prior to a gift of that magnitude, there was people still wondering, will we get the level of philanthropic support that's going to be necessary to have success for the students? Dan was a key volunteer for the Jordan Schnitzer Museum of Art, and he recruited other donors to step up and help us. That facility is private funds. Their breadth of support, whether it be athletics, the honors program, it spans all of WSU.
Dan and Kathy have been equally committed to student success on our campus. Their commitment to scholarships is really important to our campus. The Second Chance Scholarship is our biggest scholarship program, and his philanthropy has allowed, as of this semester, 292 students who would not have graduated because they didn't have the financial capacity to finish. That has been huge already, and I know his goal is to reach 1,000.
Because of Dan and Kathy's generosity and the wisdom to establish the fund, students that otherwise wouldn't have graduated now have. Those students are now out in society with a college degree, with jobs, with families. They're now contributing back to their communities.
I was a first-generation student, and I was always stretched financially, and it was always, pins and needles whether I'd be able to make it through the next semester. And you saw a lot of that here. And so I got really engaged with the students, and I got really interested in trying to find ways that I could help these students complete their degrees with a little less stress.
Dan, like many of us, had needed scholarships, needed work studies, summer jobs, all of those things to get through school. So opportunities that were given to him make a big difference. But he tells his story about President Glenn Terrell and how President Terrell wrote him a letter of recommendation so he could get into law school. That recommendation changed Dan's life. And ever since then, he has really said, look at what this act of kindness has really done. It transformed my life. I really need to give back, and he has given back. He has repaid that act of kindness with so much generosity.
He was known as the student's president, and that moment cemented that for me. For me, it was a small act of kindness on his part, but had a huge impact on my life. WSU means everything to me. I don't think there's one thing I can think of that I've done success-wise that hasn't been directly tied to what I gained from WSU.
When you look at the advocacy that Dan has provided for WSU, WSU Foundation, WSU Vancouver, the various colleges, campuses, and units they've supported, the philanthropic support that they've provided, he and Kathy have been incredibly generous. He's served on committees and task forces across the entire spectrum, and oftentimes had the gavel in his hand, that leadership in the volunteer capacity, allowing us to go places we wouldn't have gone.
You have done so much for Washington State University as a leader and a philanthropist and just an engaged alumnus. and you deserve very much to be rewarded and recognized for your multiple years of making a difference for our students at Washington State University.
This award is very special. And it's very special because of what it represents. Hoot Gibson is the gold star in terms of service to WSU. He started the foundation, and that foundation has contributed billions to students and to WSU as an institution. And to have your name stated in the same sentence as Weldon B. Gibson is pretty humbling. It was a kind of emotional moment, He left an indelible mark on WSU, and I hope when I'm done, I'll leave some kind of mark on WSU.